ELI5. Why does Wi-Fi get slower the further away from the source you get? Shouldn't it either work or not work? The further away you are, the more errors occur. Imagine you are trying to have a phone conversation with somebody, but there is so much noise on their phone you keep having to ask them to repeat themselves. At the same time, the person you are talking to can barely hear you asking them to repeat themselves. The device you are using is doing the same thing with the router you are connected to. Think of it as a conversation between two people. You increase the distance between them and they have to start shouting and repeating sentences, because they only get part of the sentence or hear it incorrectly. The communication slows down. Put objects in between and it starts sooner. Wi-Fi is an electromagnetic field which decreases its signal strengths the further away you are. Because there are losses in the air these waves travel through. That makes it more complicated for the error algorithms to clean the signal in the reception end. Therefore, the whole communication decreases its quality. Imagine you are trying to talk to somebody across a crowded room. Sometimes you can hear what they are saying and sometimes you can't quite make it out. The times you can't quite make it out, you ask them to repeat themselves. When that happens, the pace of conversation slows down. That is basically what happens with the Wi-Fi. Bits of data that get corrupted or not received have to be repeated and it slows down the overall flow of data. In a similar respect to radio signals, the farther you are from the origin, the weaker the signal. It's still there, but there is a lot more noise and breaking up. And that is packet loss, slow replies. Or go can think about having a conversation with a friend 50 feet away versus 100 feet away. You can still see each other, but it's harder to hear one another and communicate. It is possible to set up some access points so they disconnect devices when their signal gets too weak. But this is uncommon outside of business-oriented Wi-Fi systems like Ubiquiti's Unify. Most setups will attempt to keep the connection working even when the signal is weak. A weaker signal will then result in some combination of sending data repeatedly when it isn't received clearly and sending data more slowly, so the weak signal is more intelligible. As you get farther away, the signal gets weaker, and your computer automatically slows down the connection to compensate. Imagine that slowing down the bits means it can collect enough signal per bit. Like doing a long exposure photograph of the night sky so the camera can pick up really faint stars. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.